What is happening there, J Gaming Dude here, and are you a fan of Apple? The reason why I asked that is because that tells me two things about you. One is that you don't know how to use a phone, and two is that you've spent way too much money on something that looks like a status symbol but really isn't. There's a lot of things that are wrong with the way in which Apple uses their devices. For example, creating like a walled garden so that the only apps you can get are provided by Apple. You can't go out of your way to change things around on your phone. It'll only function the way Apple wants you to function it. Every time I look at an iPhone, I think that's kind of like the baby's first phone, because everything is so restricted and restrictive that if you gave a baby an iPhone, they would be equally as likely to break it as, say, anyone else would be, and that is very unlikely because, again, it's just very stringent on both from a development point of view to the fact that it has to be on the App Store so that Apple can always get it cut, to using Lightning port, for example, and now being forced to use USB-C but only in European regions. The whole blue bubble versus green bubble debacle, which I never knew about, but apparently that is Apple causing other devices that aren't iPhones to work more poorly through their own integrated system that is also a part of their own phone. Again, there's a few different things that we could look at and talk about and things in between. One thing, however, I did not expect to see nor consider was the fact that Apple is actually opening up their iPhones in order to play retro-tiled. More specifically, Apple has announced that it will allow video game emulator applications on iPhones through its App Store. Previously, this was actually something that was banned or was always removed by Apple. So unlike recent App Store changes that Apple made to comply with the Digital Markets Act in the European Union region, this change will be applicable globally. So this is another change alongside changing from Lightning cable to USB-C. They now are doing this because of the European Union, and thank goodness the European Union does exist, because now people can charge their iPhones faster with a more recent piece of technology. Like, Lightning cable is actually so outdated that I think it was probably released around 2006 or 2008. The green bubble, blue bubble stuff, that was Apple using a piece of technology from 2008 while they create their own piece of technology. So green bubbles were working on a 2008 piece of technology called SMS. Sorry, not SMS. It's I forgot what it's exactly called, but it treats it like a normal text message rather than a message sent online, which is R something or other. I've completely forgotten the terminology myself. But so finally, Apple is actually allowing more apps onto their App Store. What does this mean though? So effectively, it'll just allow them to... So Apple will provide you the emulator, but they won't provide you the ROMs. This is kind of like what we some stuff that's happened in the past, especially with Yuzu getting sued because they're, providing... What's it called? Encrypted keys that are supposed to not be provided to other people, and is in fact a restrictive piece of information that is behind security on a switch. However, it seems like Yuzu was providing their keys out to people, but it was never proven, nor nothing was taken to court. They just immediately just stopped immediately, because when you get sued by Nintendo, usually that's kind of like the thing to do, is just don't even fight it. Even if you know you're right, just don't even fight it. So who knows if Yuzu was right or wrong in that particular situation. But as far as ROMs go, that you will need to source yourself. Otherwise, that could easily be seen as like breaking the law. So it'll be interesting to see when Apple does launch this, when those not ROMs, but those emulators do become available. What does that then look like from a legal perspective and standpoint or stand of view? Because Nintendo is obviously going to be the first one that are most likely going to be trying to make sort of a precedent as far as that's concerned by trying to sue any emulator that's trying to make that happen. So it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward, what that's going to look like in the grand scheme of things for emulators on phones, and especially when they're provided on the App Store itself. But yeah, I think this last paragraph, let's see what this is. Last month, Apple announced that the company is planning to make changes to its user data portability offering, which will improve migration solutions to help users transfer data between devices with different operating systems. Apple is developing a solution, operating systems, provide more user-friendly solutions out of it. Okay, furthermore, the company said the third party already offer the functionality of transferring between different OSs, and Apple plans to build on those options. The company added that it aims to make the solution available by fall next year. So it's clear that Apple is now kind of bringing the walled garden down a bit and actually joining everyone else, because like it says here, that third parties already offer the functionality to transfer between different OSs. So you could transfer everything from an Android to an iPhone, which is using iOS. And yet Apple does not offer the opposite direction. Going from an iPhone to an Android is supposed to be incredibly difficult so that they can keep you in the iPhone ecosystem. But that's just, again, another piece of beef they have with iPhones. So I don't know if this video is more about the beef that I have with iPhones and the way they handle their walled garden stuff, or the fact that they're allowing emulators to exist on their store. It is an incredibly massive thing, for sure. Finally, iPhone users can actually play older games if they're able to rip their own ROMs, or of course allegedly find them elsewhere. I'm not going to say anything further. But with that being said, at least I am actually genuinely happy for iPhone users. You can say an old game is old all you like, but sometimes some old games are just worth going back to. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Whether it be about Apple, whether it be about emulators, or whether it be about the fact that you have an iPhone and are looking to install apps on an install some emulators and give a few games a try. If there's anything in particular you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 200 subs by the end of the year. With all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.